So how does that relate to Steve Jobs? There's a lot that has been written about this, especially recently, since Steve Jobs just so recently passed away. But some commonalities here. Steve Jobs dropped out of college. He was a unique learner as well. He wasn't really willing to tolerate all of his teachers' point of view, and he wanted to do his own thing. In particular, he wanted to make computing more accessible. He wasn't interested in having computers be a black box. He wanted to make them more available to people and understandable. So he established Apple Computer, and as we know, after his first wave of work at Apple, he started Next and then acquired Pixar. We know how that trajectory worked forward. But he was, of course, a major employer globally. A very interesting spread and impact of his work. But I think most importantly, we see how he revolutionized the interface between humans and computers, between humans and technology. So he takes some of what Edison did yet another step further. If Edison showed us how to develop revolutionary technologies, Jobs shows us how to interact and connect with technology in new ways. What was his innovation culture like? Well, somewhat similar to Edison's in that he was the one who set the tone, he set the climate, and then he engaged with people throughout the organization in various ways. Now, sometimes this took the heavy hand of the innovation czar. Yes, this is how we're going to do it. But in other cases, it was also reaching out and saying, how should we solve this problem? How should we move forward to address this issue? I think most especially we see design influences coming forward in Jobs' work. And if you look back on Edison's work, he also was looking at how people would hold things, how they would use things, how they would interact with technologies. This is very, very much the things that they two had in common. Very much dynamic leaders as well. I'm not going to read through this entire list of all the new markets and new items that we received from Jobs in his lifetime. But he created new markets that changed the way we think about how we conduct our work every day. And what about his failure? Well, I think being fired from Apple and succeeded by John Sculley was probably one of the most visible and difficult things for Steve Jobs over the course of his career. And he's talked about this and written about this in many instances. So what are some of the other parallels? These are some of the things that are obvious.